Good morning, and I'm back in the car. I tried to shoot this video in my kitchen, but with 3 kids home distance learning, that was impossible. I was 10 seconds in and I was interrupted. Can anyone relate to that? I should have gotten a mop and a dustpan and a broom out and no one would have come near me, but I forgot that little trick. So today I'm back to finish up an episode we started last week about why is my child so dang unmotivated? I'm Trish Thompson. Welcome to my jungle. Parenting kids with learning differences is no joke. Parenting in general is no joke. And then you add in some learning differences and we are just off to the races, man. So a really common thing that parents get frustrated with their kids that have ADHD and other learning differences is that the kids have a really hard time getting started and seeming motivated. It even seems like maybe they're lazy. And we talked in our first episode, and you can go back and find that one. I'll make a playlist about why is my child so dang unmotivated. You can go back and look at the first one where we talked about the science behind why it may appear that they are unmotivated and why they actually may feel unmotivated. There is a brain science reason for that. And what we're going to cover today in episode 2 is what can you do to increase motivation, to help that dopamine reward system fire off efficiently and draw them in to do activities that maybe are a little bit challenging or they're avoidant of. And we talked about how kids with ADHD, every day that they go to school feels like a Monday to them. That's the way their brain chemistry works. And so I want to make it a Friday. How do we take a Monday activity where we're and make it into a Friday activity where it's like, yeah, the end of this day is going to be good. So I'm going to give you 3 tips for increasing your child's motivation. And I like the Friday and Monday analogy because it just works. So tip number 1 is, I think, gold for parenting and teaching kids with ADHD. I think it is where their future success lies. And that is find the things they are naturally curious about, interested in, and motivated by. They all have it. Every kid has something that they just love, whether it be volcanoes or dinosaurs or music or dance or a silly cartoon that they love, like Barbie and the Dream House. It doesn't matter what it is. Find that thing that they naturally are attracted to and figure out how to incorporate that into the activity that you're doing. If it's an educational activity, can they write their essay on some topic of interest like that? And instead of manufacturing things for them to be good at, like we think our kids need to be confident, they need to be accomplished. So we do this Russian roulette of, well, let's try scouts, let's try soccer, let's try making them get good grades, let's try a tutor, let's try Kumon, let's try, and a lot of times those efforts are really focused at what we think they should be good at versus to what they are naturally drawn to. For someone whose motivation system is inefficient, their best bet is to mine and get the gold out of the things they are naturally motivated to do, interested to learn about. That's where their gold is. Your job is not to lead them off to find the gold that looks good or is for everybody else. It's to help them find their treasure within themselves. And whatever it is they're naturally motivated by, naturally interested in, that's probably their gold mine. Now, gold mine. Did I say gold mine? Gold mine. Now, let's say their only interest is video games. Fine. What are the topics in the video games that they're interested in? What are some other video game type activities that may be motivating to them? Or we can move on to step number 2, which is, or tip number 2, which is to pair a highly motivating, interesting, rewarding activity to come right after the Monday morning no thanks activity. So you're taking a first then approach. First, the non-preferred activity that they're not really jazzed about, followed directly by the preferred activity. So a real simple one for a kid whose interests are really narrow is to use video games in that way. So it's, yes, you can play the game as soon as you've done your spelling. Yes, you can play the game as soon as we have this checked off the list, and you can go back and forth, right? So you're going to pair things that aren't very motivating with things that are highly motivating. And the ticket to get the highly motivating activity or item is to engage in the less motivating activity or item. And then the third tip is to make it fun. Use humor, novelty, fun, laughter. These are things that release dopamine and increase our motivation. And for kids with ADHD and other learning differences or executive functioning deficits, you might have to have more bags in your trick. Novelty lights that up, gets interest and curiosity brewing. So you might want to do change up the school routine that everyone else does and put everything into a hat along with some surprise fun activities, and have them draw activities out of the hat so they never know what's coming next, the fun thing or the Monday morning thing, the boring thing. But usually if they know, oh, there's something new and unexpected and exciting mixed in here, that can keep them going. Making it fun, making it funny, finding a way to make it a game, right? These are ways that we increase our child's motivation. And it often seems like a lot of work, and it can be a little bit tiring, but once you harness their natural interest and motivation and you lighten things up and you make things new and interesting and unusual and funny and fun, you're going to have a lot more success getting them engaged in some of the things that are not highly motivating to them, like schoolwork. But if I could leave you again, I want to come back to that first tip, because that tip is so important for life, for your kids. If they want to go to college, if they want to have a career that they love, it might not be or look like the traditional career that other people follow that requires a great deal of motivation. Oh my God, I'm literally losing my mind. Motivation. Their best bet is to find the things that they are good at, that they love, that they are knowledgeable and interested in, that they want to talk about all the time, that they want to read about, that they want to watch movies about, that they want to do video games about, and figure out ways for them to engage in activities that mine that treasure and figure out where their path's going to take them. Their best bet would be to have a career or a career path that is in an area that's highly interesting and motivating to them, because then that little mood issue that comes up, the lack of motivation, what looks like laziness, is really taken care of itself. So that is episode 2. We talked about why is my child so dang unmotivated, and then we talked about if there's a brain inefficiency in the dopamine reward system, like we talked about in episode 1, what are the 3 tips toward increasing motivation? We're going to, number 1, follow their natural interests and curiosities. That's motivating. Number 2, we're going to do first, then, and place highly motivating activities directly after the non-preferred activity. And number 3, we're going to figure out how to make it fun and how to put novelty in. If my child is whining a lot, super lazy-ish, not wanting to engage in anything, often I just have to bring in a new writing utensil, or we need to move spots in the house, or we need to go sit outside to do our work. We just find novel ways to increase interest and curiosity and motivation. So in recap, that's what we're talking about today. And I would love for you to like, subscribe, and share this YouTube channel, because I think the most important thing to know as a parent who is navigating the world of learning differences with their child is that you are not alone. And it is really hard, and you will mess it up sometimes. But as a community, and as we talk and practice these things, it gets easier. And just knowing you're not alone makes it easier. So invite other people and share this so that we can have a community where we're supporting each other. And I would love to have you all here. I'm going to try to post every Tuesday now, and then maybe every once in a while I'll pepper some in between that. But definitely every Tuesday I'll be posting. So check back, and I'll see you then. Bye.